I remember, I believe it was Thursday nights when the Lone Ranger and Bobby Benson of the B-Bar-B Ranch, Space Patrol, all these different little programs came on. Mom had to buy tons of cereal because I wanted the secret decoder rings and all this stuff that they hyped in those days. But those were the good days for me.
Maybe you'd like to visit
That first moment when it begins to warm up on the old radios, you hear a slight hum, and then you tune it and you hear that first voice come out of it. It's a hard feeling to explain.
It may not look like a time machine, but the years seem to peel away the farther you walk back into the shadows of John Campbell's barn. Listen close and you will hear yesterday through distant voices escaping through wooden cabinets. You will see the warm glow of a radio dial. The good old days of radio are still alive in John Campbell's barn, back when boyhood fascination was fueled by static and the faraway sounds his daddy tuned in from a box built from a pile of parts.
I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 of these old radios, and doggone it, even if I go to an antique store or a garage sale and I see one of them, I still want to buy it. The kids nowadays don't recognize them as anything valuable, so they chunk them. At one time, this was a painting, actually, that covered the speaker. They paid quite a bit of attention to details in those days, and the wood in these are just absolutely beautiful. We started buying tubes and radios, and it seems like we just couldn't stop. Got into buying vacuum tubes because they were getting hard to find. We kind of lost count past around 100,000 of them. We got Bakelite radios here in this box, radio chassis sitting on top of it. I think there's about 60 boxes of tubes there.
In back rooms, corners, and boxes stacked to the ceiling, John's holding on to what the rest of the world had no use for. And one at a time, in a slow, meticulous process, he's taking these old radio sets and restoring them inside and out back to the golden age of the airwaves.
I was working on one a few nights ago, and I found a service ticket that had been written in 1931 where the guy had replaced a particular tube in that radio, and I had just replaced that same tube in 1997. And there for just a flash, I thought, in the overall scheme of things, that's not much time. In another way, it's a lifetime. I think it's humbling, probably, to realize that hopefully these things will go on long after we will. We've got a Radiola Model 28 here. Goes back to approximately 1925. There was a situation going where the manufacturers were trying to see who could advertise that they had the most tubes in their radios. Consequently, they put a lid on all of them, so when your friends came over, you could impress them by showing them that your radio had more tubes than theirs. Well, look at this. We've got a dirt dauber nest inside of this one. Didn't even know that. I swear every one of them seems like it's calling, saying, you know, it's my turn next. This is my link to the good old days. I kind of feel like I'm back in the days when these things were modern equipment. Maybe that's why I want them to look new again. I miss those days, and this is my way of preserving a little part of it.
After decades in dark and dusty attics, these forgotten antiques have a voice once again. With only original parts and the knowledge from watching his daddy years ago put these things together brand new, John restores every set to a showroom finish.
I won't work on transistorized equipment. Anything past the 50s, they really would do better to go see a modern day technician. nobody really seems to be collecting them a great deal. By the time someone realizes that they're of value to preserve, they're going to all be gone. Most of them are ending up at the garbage dumps.
John says we all remember a time listening to some earth-shattering moment coming from an old radio with a barn full of silent sets. The moment John Campbell craves now is that first static spit and sputter. After so many silent years, that means another wooden cabinet has come back to life.
I like to see them go to people that are going to give them a good home. Somebody needs to take care of them. You know, the present wisdom is you can't go home. Don't believe it, I have. This is my way of going home.
And we appreciate you tuning into our frequency. Hope you'll look for us again here next week. I'm Bob Phillips. This is Texas Country Reporter. See you next time.